everyone, welcome to this week's I've Been Playing. Today we're talking about a cute little indie game called Rain on Your Parade. Rain on Your Parade is a game that just came out, I think at the beginning of this month, on Xbox Game Pass, so obviously it's on that, but you can also find it on PC and Switch. And it's a puzzle game where you play as a little raincloud. Now there's really not much more to it than that, at least in terms of, base mechanics, base gameplay, base game. And you go around to each of these puzzle areas, and most of the time in the puzzle levels, you go there to basically ruin people's day, or rain on their parade. Now that's not to say that's all you do collect other abilities for a raincloud over the course of your play, so you end up being able to snow, you end up picking up thunderstorms, you end up being able to turn into a tornado, which is pretty cool. But for the most part, you're going to each of these levels and you're more or less most of the time wrecking stuff up. Now the nature of that wrecking up does change. Sometimes you'll go to puzzle levels and it'll just literally be raining on people. That's more towards the early part of the game. Then later on with the lightning, you'll be asked to set things on fire. So your rain cloud can collect these bubbles of oil, I'm assuming it is, and then set it on fire with their lightning or fire in the environment and set fire to a bunch of things. Sometimes you do this just to set fire to everything in the environment. Sometimes it's used for specific things or specific tasks or purposes, stuff like that. But there is a little variation. There's also, with the snow, you can make people into snowballs and roll them down hills and stuff and make cars crash, and that's another aspect of that. As a tornado, you can collect stuff, bring it over to people, throw people around, all sorts of stuff. You can turn into like a tornado katamari. And so really, at the end of the day, that's what it is. It is a puzzle game where you play as a rain cloud. There's not too much more I can say about that, and you can kind of get the general idea of the game overall from that. There are also side levels. Those are less puzzly sometimes. There's one where it was literally just draw a picture. There's one that mimics a Metal Gear level. There's one that you raise zombies, although I think that may have been a main one. There's one where you pretend you're an archaeologist and uncover bones. And for the most part, the puzzles range from almost too easy, although those are mostly at the beginning of the game, as they would be, to, difficult but not impossible, except for the one I'm on now. The one I stopped the game at is the second to last level of the game, and it does something that none of the other levels in the game do. It's a wave-based, almost Plants vs. Zombies-esque setup, and you have to defend a city, which is fine. I eventually learned a good strategy. I didn't get any damage to the city in the first 4 waves, I think it was. And in wave 5 came along and I was like, surely the game isn't set up for this. This isn't gonna be like a long wave based thing. I know it's towards the end of the game, but nothing yet has been that's difficult, so it's not gonna be a problem. And then wave 5 came and went, and then wave 6 came, and it's something that seems like it's almost too difficult based on the difficulty of the rest of the game. Because I've never been asked to do something like this before, and the cloud only moves so fast, you can't do anything about your movement speed, and there's a lot of enemies, and there's only one way to get rid of them. And there is some stuff added to help you, but it's all at one side of the screen, and it doesn't really seem to help all that often, or all that quickly, or at all sometimes, and there are a ton of enemies just coming at you, and some of them have lasers and like exploding turrets and stuff like that, and it's just all at once, and it doesn't seem like the game was built to handle that or to make it work well, I guess. Either that or I'm just bad at the game, but I really feel like this is the type of game you can't be bad at, really. It's a puzzle game. It's very, very fun, but it's a fairly simple puzzle game until this level, and I don't know why it seems so arbitrary. I know it's towards the end, like I said, but it seems so much more difficult than any of the other stuff that I had to do in the rest of the game. So that's kind of where I'm stuck, and I don't want to be stuck there because I'm almost done with the full game, and it seems silly to stop a level before the final level. But there's also the problem that even if I do get through this one, what's the final level going to be? If the difficulty has suddenly spiked that much, am I going to be able to do the final level either? But overall, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Even though I've put it aside for now, I definitely would recommend playing it if you like these cute little puzzle games. It reminds me most of Untitled Goose Game, I think, just because of the sheer ridiculousness of some of it and the silliness, and the fact that you're ruining people's days, especially, is a big part of that. But you also have, like, the checklists you have are written down on notebook paper, very much like Untitled Goose Game. It also reminded me more towards the beginning, granted, of Overcooked. I don't know if that's because it awards you stars for each of the levels, or maybe it's just the way the map is laid out. The map itself reminds me very much of Overcooked, but there's also a little bit of that as well, except there's no multiplayer. But like I said, that's about all I can say about it. But as always, let me know what you think of this game in the comments. Have you played it? Does it look like something you'd play? I'm having a lot of fun with it, even though some people would call it basic, I guess, but it's a cute little game. It's fun. It's, you know, it's very satisfying to play. If you enjoyed this, please consider leaving a like, and if you want to see more of these, consider subscribing. I do one of them every Monday, or at least every Monday I'm able to play a new game because I'm still busy and sometimes I just can't. I hope you'll join me, and I'll see you next time.